Here it is, GGB co-host Peppers. We're going to be talking about the Dolphins-Bears game today. I was actually kind of hyped for this game. I was looking forward to seeing Tua Tagovailoa, and then obviously I was looking forward to seeing Justin Fields, because honestly, that's what you kind of got to look for in these preseason games, is look for players that, and you think you're going to do well in the NFL, but they're not starting caliber right now. Because let's be honest, most starting caliber quarterbacks at the very least, but most positions are not starting at this point in the year. So honestly, let's start with the winners here today. And I honestly think the quarterback play was phenomenal for both teams. Actually, I thought Tua played really well. I understand he threw a pick and no touchdowns, but he did go 8-11, 99 yards. He was making good decisions outside of that one play, and he was making really nice throws. So maybe this is the next step up for Tua's development. I really love what I saw out of Tua today. And I'm also going to mention the fact is, Mike Gesicki proved that he's going to be he's the number one tight end option at the very least, but he's going to be a huge threat through the passing game. Now, to be fair, to everyone else, the wide receiver room was really not playing. Let's be honest, Devontae Parker didn't see any snaps. Will Fuller didn't see any snaps. Jalen Waddle and Jakeem Grant only saw snaps on special teams. Preston Williams was hurt for this game. So, really, that's probably your top 5 guys that didn't see hardly any playing time offensively at the wide receiver position. But still, I'd like to point out that was an extremely good game by Mike Gesicki, especially just early, I guess, technically speaking. Just early, he looked good, but regardless, I was really impressed with what I saw out of Mike Gesicki today. Another winner, in my opinion, it's got to be Justin Fields. It's going to be a lot of winners today because I didn't see any poor play by any team. Really, I think it was just a very well-played game, so I'm not going to have many losers tonight. But Justin Fields looked extremely good. He looked on point, and he just proved what I said about I don't think he deserved to slip that far. I really don't believe that. He should not have been available at 12. He just shouldn't have been there. He should not have been available at 12. I will say that till the day I die. I don't believe he should have been. He was too good of a quarterback. That is the second best quarterback in the draft class. But I'm like, okay, you want to take Zach Wilson. Okay, you want to take Trey Lance. Oh my God, so many teams passed on him, and the Bears have an absolute phenomenal guy here, and Justin Fields showed what he could do today. Throw into some also lackluster targets. So I'm actually really impressed with this team so far. And then I'd like to point out a couple of running backs, right? So the Dolphins running back room, if you guys do not know, it's very I don't know how to put this, but it's a bunch of guys that not many people know in the NFL, right? It's not like Chicago where you have David Montgomery, or it's not like most teams where you have a guy that is recognizable. I think they have some very good options in that room, and I legitimately do believe that. I think everyone serves a role in that running back room, and especially since they have a good amount of running backs on the roster, you could put some on the practice squad. I think it's a very deep running back room, but it's not a very high ceiling running back room. But in my opinion, one of the better nights of the game. The better games of the night was Salvon Ahmed. Salvon Ahmed looked really good. If you did not know, he was an undrafted running back out of Washington last year. Started out on the Miami practice squad. But by the end of the year, they had Matt Breida go down with an injury. They had many other running backs go down with injuries throughout the year, especially Myles Gaskin was out for a certain amount of time. And Salvon Ahmed stepped up, so a lot of Dolphins fans were excited to see if that could continue this year. From this preseason game, it definitely looks like it did. I'm actually kind of excited to see all these running backs and how they fit together. Salvon Ahmed definitely looked good. Again, we always know what Myles Gaskin can provide. He's an explosive player. I love Myles Gaskin. He should be the number one running back on this team. Malcolm Brown, although he didn't have great stats, 9 carries for 8 yards. He proved that he can be a power back. It's what they mainly use him for, and I'm fine with that. But let's shift over to the Chicago side of things. Now, we all know David Montgomery is going to be the lead back in Chicago, and we probably know Tariq Cohen is going to make the roster. So, but outside of that, there's an argument to be made for 3 and 4, and you should keep 3-4 running backs. I thought Khalil Herbert proved that he should be on the roster. I mean, he was a very good running back in Kansas City. I think he should be on the Chicago roster come next fall, come in a couple of weeks. But I think Davian Williams actually provides a spark on your offense that you should bring. I mean, I understand he only rushed for 4 yards, but honestly, Damian Williams was one of my favorite players in the NFL. But the real question, in my opinion, is if you keep a fourth back, who is it? And I think it's got to be Khalil Herbert. Now, I understand Ryan Nall had a very good run at the end of the game. Ryan Nall, if you do not know, is the guy that took over last year when David Montgomery was out with an injury and Tariq Cohen was out just from the beginning of the year. He was an undrafted running back out of Oregon State. It's just his third season in the NFL. But let's be honest, Ryan Nall did not impress anyone when he was running the ball last year as their number one back. That's why I think keeping Damian Williams on the roster is smart. And then Khalil Herbert's a guy I really love. Now, I've been talking about Khalil Herbert for a long time. He had 6 carries for 30 yards. I love Khalil Herbert. I'll say it before I said it again. Khalil Herbert was one of my favorite backs in college. I thought he was one of the better ones. Okay, so let's go to losers of the night. And right off the bat, actually, one more winner. I just got to mention him real quick. It's Mac Hollins. You know, the first couple drives with Tua Tagovailoa and how he was targeting Mike Gesicki, I was mentioning that earlier. The number 2 guy he was targeting a lot was Mac Hollins. 2 catches, 20 yards, and they were both on the same drive. He was going to Mac Hollins a lot, which means that means good things for Mac Hollins, considering right now he sits as number 7 on the depth chart and he'd be the first guy off of it if the depth chart stays the way it is. But the way it looked like Mac Hollins is definitely going to make the roster, at the very least, as the 6th man. And not to mention, at the beginning of the year, they're going to have the William Fuller suspension, so he won't count against the roster that first week. Preston Williams looks like he's going to be out at least a couple weeks of the regular season. So Mac Hollins, Lynn Bowden Jr., Alan Hearns, they can very much play their way onto the rosters if they play well enough. But I believe the big winner it's Mac Hollins in that receiving group. But a loser, in my opinion, I only have one, really. And that's Patrick Laird. And Patrick Laird has always made his money being on that very edge of the roster. He really is. Last year, he was, I believe, the number 3 back. But even when both Matt Breida and Myles Gaskin were out with injuries, they went with Salvin Ahmed, a guy they just picked up off their practice squad, instead of Patrick Laird, who had actually been on their roster. So I think that said a lot about Patrick Laird last year, and I thought he was going to be off the roster this year, but if I'm going to be honest, it was not good news for him when he ended up behind not only Myles Gaskin and Malcolm Brown on the handoffs, but also behind Salvin Ahmed and Jared Dokes, the rookie out of Cincinnati. So that's not good news for Laird. He's the big loser of the night. He did not surprise anyone in his few snaps. Now, there is a chance that I think Jordan Scarlett also didn't show a lot. He didn't get many carries, again, only 1 carry. But he did carry that for 8 yards. But Jordan Scarlett is just a guy I think it was a long shot to make the roster in the first place. Patrick Laird is a guy I think on his way out of Miami. Or at the very least, he's going to a practice squad. He is not staying on the active roster. But anyways, that's my analysis of the Dolphins-Chicago game. I really enjoyed watching it. Everybody, this is GGB Coast Pepper saying adios amigos and like and subscribe.